Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to cover a complete test of the automation process of the Sky Intern automation process. That includes STReader to Gmail to Sky Intern, the entire process. All right. So with the newer versions of software, we're able to do this, or you're able to do this. Now, here's the scenario, folks. Let's say, for instance, you did your own installation and you just want to check to make sure that it's reading, that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Or let's say you had an installation appointment, the technician went over it, but for some reason ran out of time and wasn't able to perform a test in front of you. Or let's say you're just, maybe you've heard or you think that a trade came through and it didn't do what you think it should do. So in this instance, you can, we can do this test right here just to make sure the whole entire process is working. So I will before I begin with this, I want to add that we're seeing a lot of stuff either in groups, like your Telegram groups or Facebook groups, with some semi-complaints that you're not getting the support you need, or the Sky Intern is not working, or my favorite, I followed the installation process to a T, to the letter, and it's still not working. And only to find out that after either corresponding with the individual or actually doing a Zoom to fix the individual, they did not follow to a T or to the letter. You got to understand, it's extremely difficult to troubleshoot via email. First and foremost, extremely difficult, especially when you get a subject line or part of the email says Sky Intern is not working, and that's it. That's all you leave it. Very, very difficult. So we have to ask questions, and we have to wait for answers to ask further questions, and so on and so forth. So if you're using the email support, you need to be patient. Now, I understand that some emails have been missed, and we apologize for that, but being human, it happens, and we try to do a better job at not letting emails slip through the cracks. With that being said, if you are contacting support, please be sure to and if it's one issue, start a new email. Please start a new email and then send it to support. If you have another new issue, start a new email. It's too difficult to explain, but it's better when you start a new email for each new issue. Another thing you could do is contact live chat. Again, it's still difficult, but it's better because we are able to do real-time questions and real-time answers, and a lot of times we can get you up and running. Or if it's at some point the technicians may even be able to perform a Zoom with you. Let's go ahead and get back to this complete test. The other thing I will add is that if you're not techie and you've tried the other avenues, you could also do a live installation session. We have a 15-minute support now, to where if you've already had it up and running, or if you've already installed it and it's just not working for some reason, then you can purchase a 15-minute live installation with a technician, and they can go in there and do it all for you. Here are some musts. You must have Sky Intern 1.9. You must have Sky Intern 1.9. If you do not, make sure that you go to the member area, go to Sky Intern, and you want to upgrade, right? Sky Intern software upgrade right here. Do an upgrade to 1.9. It's a step-by-step on how to do so. The next thing is you must have STReader 2.1 or 2.0, really, 2.0 or higher, right? STReader 2.0 or higher. If you do not have STReader 2.0 or higher, make sure that you go to the member area, go to Sky Intern, and go all the way down here where it says number 4, download and install the STReader. Again, step by step, really easy to install or upgrade the STReader version. The next must is you must go to myaccount.google.com, lesser secure apps, and turn it on. Here's what this looks like. Okay, you just got to make sure that you are logged in right here to the correct email account, to where your trade signals are going to, and from where Sky Intern is reading those trade signals from. Okay, you got to make sure that you're logged into the correct account, and all you do is toggle this on. Now, if you have Gmail two-step verification, turned on, then you won't be able to turn this on. So you need to go and turn two-step verification off. So if you don't know what the two-step verification is, typically you probably don't have it turned on, but For those of you who do, this is a reminder that when you go and attempt to log into Gmail, right, especially from a new device or a new computer or something like that, what'll happen is if you already have this turned on, then Gmail is going to send a code to the phone that is registered to that email account. It's going to send you a little text with a code, and then you're going to have to go back into the website, the web page, and put that code in, and it verifies that you are who you are. So the 2 steps is, one, you putting a password in. Then once you put the correct password in, it sends you a code to your cell phone, texts you, and then you put that code in, and if you got that code right, then it allows you into Gmail. Now, in order for you to turn Let's Just Secure Apps on, you must have 2-step verification turned off. You can't have it turned on that one. So if you have it turned on, what you need to do is go to your Gmail account. Then you click this little gear here that says Settings, and then, well, that little gear, and then click on Settings. Next, you're going to go to Account and Import. Next, you're going to go to Other Google Account Settings. It's going to open up a new window. Then in the Sign In Security area, you're going to click on Sign In to Google. And then right here, you're going to have, if it's on, you're going to click on this. It's going to ask you for, I believe, your password, or it's going to send you a text. I can't remember which one exactly. But if it's turned on, then it's going to ask you for something, and then you can then select to turn it off. And once that's done, all you got to do is toggle this on. Now again, if you don't have 2-step verification, then all you again need to do is toggle this on, and that's it. Then you can close this window out. And then lastly is you need the correct login and passwords for all necessary accounts. Can't tell you how many times some folks have said it's not working, and they just put the wrong password in. Just recently, somebody put in the wrong email address. They had an extra letter in their own email address, and it wouldn't work, and they were complaining and all that stuff. So make sure you do your due diligence to make sure that all your information is correct. So what is this complete test? So what it's going to do, it's going to test the process from getting the signal to the STReader. STReader then is going to take that information and convert it into an email and send it to your Gmail account in a proper format so that MT4 and Sky Intern, more importantly, no matter what broker account you're logged into, as long as Sky Intern's on that, it's going to read that email and place that trade. All right, so that's the process. The entire process is what we're checking on. Having said that, this is super important that when you do this, if you do this, to do this on a demo account. Okay, because if and when it checks and pulls all these old trades, we don't want that popping on a live account and opening up a trade which is since turned bad, and then it's going to go against your real money. So make sure that you're doing this on a demo account. We're checking the process, so it doesn't matter what account you're doing it on as long as it's doing the process. So if we verify that the process works, then we can put it on our live account and know that it's going to work in the future. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that Sky Intern is on. We have our MT4 open, Sky Intern is on the chart. Whatever your settings are, I am not going to go over on how to put the settings on there. You should already know this by now, but that you got to just make sure that Sky Intern is put on the chart. What I will point out is that we have to make sure that when you do put the settings on there, that the email address that you used to purchase Sky Intern with is put in that very first field. Okay, that's super important, and that you use a preset to fill out the rest. Okay, in signal configurations in particular, those fields cannot be blank. They cannot be blank. I say again, they cannot be blank. So make sure that you use the preset that we have to fill in that information. Now, if you're using an older preset, which is still good, it's still fine, the one thing that you want to do is you want to change this subject to read My Swipe Trade. And it needs to be capital M, capital S, capital T, and there's no space in between swipe and trade. You need to make sure that that's perfect, because that's what it's going to look for in the email. The next thing is with STReader, we want to make sure that we're logged in with correct usernames and passwords. Okay, again, very important. Once we do set this up, we got to make sure that we do not close the program out. It needs to be open. It needs to be open. You can minimize it into the lower tray, but you cannot close it or it will not work. If we're doing this test, there's one more little thing that you need to do. If this is the first time then you can listen to this and then you know, just you're not going to perform the action. But if you've had this running and you maybe, let's say you've taken a trade before, right, and all of a sudden now it's not working and you just want to double check that it's still working, all right, you're going to have to do this extra step, and that is you need to locate the folder where you installed, or where the technician installed STReader 2.1. So here I have brought my folder up where I know where it's been installed at. And what you're going to do is you're going to remove this signal history.txt file. For both parties, whether this is your first time or maybe you've used this before, just to give you a little education here, when it reads a trade from the signal provider, it records a little number there, and it associates that number with that trade. The reason why it does that is that, and it keeps track of this, is so that it doesn't read the same trade twice. Once it reads it the first time, it will not read it, pay attention to it again, okay, and it records these numbers. Again, if this is your first time doing it, you're not going to have anything in it. You might not even have this folder at all. But if you have done it before, all you're going to do is click on it and then delete that. Now, I have STReader pulled up here real quick. If you have it running already, what you want to do is you want to close it out. You want to click the X to get rid of it. Then what I want you to do is double click on it again, the shortcut. You should have you have a shortcut on your desktop at least. Double click on it to restart it. Now, if you have a newer version like 2.0 or higher, it should have kept record of your the last inputs, your username and passwords. Now, if for some reason your information is incorrect, then this is your opportunity to change it. If some of it's incorrect, maybe you got an extra character or misspelt or the wrong passwords, whatever, you're going to type in Y here to re-enter it from scratch. Now, if this is your first time executing STReader, then it's going to just walk you through setting up your username and your passwords. So again, having me already have set this up before, I'm going to simply put a capital N. Make sure if you're going to change it to do a capital Y. Don't put lower cases. Do capitalize. And now I'm going to hit N. Now, if this is your first time, you're going to enter all your username and passwords, and then it's going to come up with this section right here. You can either hit enter, which the default will be 1 minute, or you can put 1, either way, and then hit enter. Here is what you want to change that's different. You want to make sure that you set this up for 24 hours. To show you that this works and what it's going to do, I pulled up my email account right now. I want you to notice this last one right here, right? It was at 9:54 a.m. because it's gonna add a bunch of new emails. All right, right now it says 9:54 a.m. So it's gonna add more emails beyond that one. Now that I'm back at the STReader, now when I hit enter, it's gonna go all kind of crazy. It's gonna look for the last 24 hours for any signals. STReader is gonna read those signals, convert them over to a readable to a STReader type format, send them to your Gmail account, and at the same time, Sky Intern, if it is set correctly, will read those emails and place those trades if they are valid, right? If they are valid, and if the market price is good, and I'll explain that in just a second. But here it goes. So now I hit enter, and it's noticed it's found a bunch of trades, and it's sending emails to whatever your email account is. Got a bunch of alerts, and I'll show you in just a second, and it's also accepting some trades and placing some trades. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this for right now. So here we have an alert window, and it gave you a bunch of alerts because of a bunch of different reasons. Either A, you are excluding a specific trader, or it's out of the market price, so it's not gonna take that trade because it's out of the market price. So a bunch of different reasons, and then the ones that it does take, it'll actually place if they're valid trades. So here it took a trade and it's placing it, it's managing it. It just so happens to be a buy stop. So it just so happens that the market is in a place where this buy stop is valid and it's actually taking that trade. Also, if I pull up my email account, again, remember I was pointing earlier that the last email I had on here was 9:54 a.m. Now notice we have a bunch of new emails. Now they all have the same time frame, but that's because STReader STReader just read the last 24 hours worth of trades. Okay, have read the last 24 hours of trades and have converted them over to to an email so that the Sky Intern can read them and place them accordingly. And once it reads it, it goes to sleep. Your STReader goes to sleep, and then every minute, in this instance, we'll go ahead and continue checking for the latest signals, and there you go. Checked it for a new one. It's a couple of things. It's important, again, to do this on a demo account, because right now we have trades that are probably gone bad, all right, and you probably don't want to take this, so just this is a demo account, so you can leave it or take it, whatever, it doesn't matter, or just simply close them out. If this is a live, it shouldn't be a live account. But after this whole entire process is done and checked, then you can go and change to your live account, and then put Sky Intern on it with whatever your settings were, right? Same as what you have it set up for right now. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to change this. This is important. We're going to change this back, because remember, this was set to 24 hours. Again, at the very beginning here, it was set for 24 hours, all right? And we want to change that back to 1 hour, because 1 hour is the default. We want to keep it at 1 hour. We don't want to pull any old trades. And oh, by the way, since we have picked up all those old trades, in your STReader folder, you have a new file on there that's keeping track of all those old trades. So it shouldn't read them as a security measure again anyway. But we should still change the hour back to 1. Again, how do you do that? You're going to have to close it out, right? Close STReader out. It's going to restart. Again, it should keep track of your old username and passwords. You're simply going to say no, you don't want to change anything. Now, I typically put mine at 5 minutes. You can put it at 1 minute. It's completely up to you. But here, again, you're going to change it. For the test, we put it to 24. Right now, we're just going to simply put it to 1. If you hit enter, it would already default it to 1 as well. And then it would check to see if there's any new ones within the last hour. And it's going to check, in my instance, it's going to go to sleep for 5 minutes and then check again for any new signals. And that's it, folks. That is the complete test, going from your trade signals to your STReader to Gmail to MT4 and Sky Intern. Place the whole entire process of testing to make sure that it takes a trade. If at any point that it did not do its job, if the email account, or if the email was never sent to Gmail, then something is wrong with the STReader process. If for some reason that a Sky Intern didn't read what was on the Gmail, then there's something wrong with your Sky Intern settings. So there's various things that you can use to kind of troubleshoot to see if this works. And again, if this is way over your head, folks, don't fret. Just contact support, either email, patience required, and or live chat, sometimes patience required. And then if you still can't figure out, how bad you want to get this up and running, you can also pay for the 15-minute tech support, where they'll do it for you, get it up and running, and then move you on your way. I will leave you with this last bit of information. Remember to leave STReader open. All you're simply going to do is minimize STReader into your tray, and you're going to leave it open as long as Sky Intern is running 24 hours a day for 5 days, from Sunday evening to Friday evening. Then your STReader needs to be open as well. Okay, it needs to be on, working as well. All right, so folks, I hope this helped. I understand it's a little bit lengthy, but I felt the need to put this out there so that you can run the test. Again, if you can't figure out, even with this video, I apologize. We did our best. Just contact support and we'll get you up and running. As always, we really truly hope that you reach financial freedom, and we hope that this process helps you get one step closer to that. With that being said, have a great day. Bye-bye.